it has hit 302,000 players, which I gotta admit is pretty dang wild. But there's a few things I wanted to talk about with that, though, because I kind of think this goes beyond just Forza at this point. I wanted to talk about the racing genre in general today. Now, a few things you could probably say with this is simply down to the fact that yes, this is obviously only the Steam numbers, which to be real for a racing game, I'm about 99% sure this is a record, at least for a racing game, even though Grand Theft Auto is a racing game, which, I mean, technically it kind of is if you know what I'm saying, but the thing is though, Forza Horizon getting over 300,000 people on the max, like, peak number it got to, is honestly pretty dang amazing. Now, people will come in and argue that, oh, it's going to go down, blocked, it ain't going to stay there, and well, yeah, of course, no game really stays super maxed out forever, am I right? They always drop a little bit, and Forza Horizon probably will as well, but I also think it will maintain a pretty high number of players for a while because, it's Forza Horizon. There's really not much of anything in the racing genre at the moment, which is kind of where I was kind of going with this, you know what I'm saying? Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, though, is obviously people will also say that Forza's not a good game, or it doesn't have a lot of good stuff to it, or there's this issue here, there. But the thing is, though, it is pretty clear to me that a lot of players want a racing game, and it is pretty much the only new racing game we've had in years. So I kind of think this should show other developers, if you know what I'm saying, EA, looking at you, bro, that people obviously want a racing game. Despite the flaws that Forza Horizon 6 might have, it's obviously not a perfect game. A lot of people are still really enjoying it. There's a lot of positivity around it. Yes, there'll be things you probably won't like about it. That goes for basically any game on the market nowadays, where you'll probably enjoy some things, you'll most likely not like this design or that, or you won't like how they're handling this. We all do know that is probably inevitable. But it's also down to the fact that we do have a racing game now that is a behemoth, which we all do know Forza kind of tends to be that. And to be honest, guys, as far as we do know at the moment, and the reason why I say this is apparently Maverick Games is showing something about their racing game in the beginning of June. I will keep you guys updated on that. Might even make a video about it once they get out whatever they're planning to do there, whether it's a reveal, an early gameplay, who knows. But I also think other racing games could be great for the entire genre because we all do know, again, there is obviously not a lot. Currently, right now, if we think about the current racing games, we have Forza Horizon 6. I'm talking about open world, by the way, not track games. I know Gran Turismo 7. Game is old, pretty obvious. But we also have Motorfest. Again, people are aware of that one. And also Test Drive Unlimited, which is kind of, who knows where that game really is at this point. I mean, it's maxing out at barely 200 players on Steam, probably 2 or 3,000, maybe 4,000 players maxed across every platform. So, yeah, that game's obviously struggling in itself. But Motorfest is kind of the only other racing game that's been getting updates for around 3 or so years now. But the newest racing game is Forza Horizon 6, and it's pretty clear to tell that everybody is jumping into this game and really playing it and enjoying it. I mean, guys, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I think I have almost 95 hours in the game already. So yeah, I've been playing the crap out of it. I really do enjoy it so much, and I still do not have a lot of stuff completed, okay? So anyone who's beating the entire game in like 3 days going, man, this game is boring. Well, yeah, bro. I wonder why. You just played the whole game in like 2 days and you're bored of it. That would happen to literally any game you'd probably play. But the biggest thing I kind of think about with Forza, though, is it kind of shows that other racing games can have a place here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think other players would probably love to have more racing games or more options instead of only having a few. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just play Forza Horizon 6, which obviously I am currently, and I'm enjoying it. But I also understand that players do like having options or other games they can play that might give them a different feeling of that said gameplay or what they're doing. Whether you might want to play Dark Souls or Crimson Desert. You all know what I'm getting at there. Open world type of games or different types in the same genre and all that good stuff. Kind of similar either way, combat, racing, you know what I'm getting at. But the biggest thing is I kind of think that we should hopefully see more racing games. I really don't know why EA dropped Need for Speed. I know this is the kind of thing everybody has talked about. It's kind of been everywhere, but this goes to show that this game did 300,000 on Steam, guys. We do not know the numbers on Xbox. Apparently, it was a 5 to 6 million. I don't know. I did check one of the speed traps in the game. It was around 3+ million players on it, or like 2.9 or something. Again, I have no idea what the actual number is. Game Pass holders, actual people buying the game, who knows, as I can't look at the graphs and, main data and all that and the main data points. But I think that's pretty dang amazing for a launch of a racing game. I do not know of another racing game that's even cleared 300,000 on Steam. I mean, heck, guys, Forza Horizon 5, from what I remember, I think it maxed at, what, like 83? Something like that, around there. So, yeah, 300,000 compared to 80. It is pretty clear that a lot of players wanted another racing game, but also Forza being in Japan was a huge role there. It's a brand new game in a location a lot of players wanted a lot of new cars, a lot of different things to do. So I'm definitely not too all surprised with that. And then there's obviously not much of other racing games you could jump into and play. So that's probably another reason why FH6 is doing so dang well. And who knows how much money this game has made. I saw like an estimation of like 320 million or something, which I would not doubt at all. We all do know Game Pass holders might play the game a little bit and then not play it, but at least they're obviously jumping on and trying the game. So it's something I would say. It really does blow my mind, though, because other companies could probably step it up with their games. They're seeing how successful Forza Horizon 6 is. You guys have unique games on your own side here. I mean, I could talk about Motorfest again, but I've kind of really over-discussed Motorfest. I know 99% of the things I've talked about, other people are also discussing and saying now. But we also do know most of those changes, man, let's just keep it real. They ain't happening, bro. Okay, they're not going to go and do drastic changes to that game with it being almost 3 years old. They're just not, dude. Maybe the next game, hopefully we'll see some different changes. But as of right now, I don't have a ton of confidence in the updates that are coming in the game because I feel like they will just follow the original plan of every other update. And it was kind of confusing because if you have a game that makes you unique, again, I could talk about Need for Speed here, or Motorfest, or even other racing games that might end up popping up that will have a unique thing that other racing games don't. For example, Motorfest has the unique classes, Need for Speed has the police and a different type of gameplay vibe to it that always set it apart from everything else. And I kind of wonder why EA was like, oh, there's no room for racing games, or what did they say? No one wants racing games or something? Yeah, okay, EA. Well, come look at Forza real quick, bro. 300,000 on Steam. Probably well in the millions. I would probably say the game's above 5-6 million players. And it will only climb from here when other people get the game later on and hits PlayStation. We all do know a lot of people, obviously, are excited for that. But it's just super confusing because EA could probably come in and release the old Need for Speeds again. I know the licensing, I know all that stuff is an absolute nightmare. But they can also release a new Need for Speed game, which a lot of people want, and we're probably, what, 2 or 3 years away from that? So we will literally get Grand Theft Auto before the next Need for Speed game. Think about that for a minute, guys. What in the world? They really scrapped Need for Speed, and now we're racing dirt bikes on Battlefield. I don't even know what to say to that, dude. Does that even make any sense? It's just, if you guys have a unique game and you know what makes that said game unique and what players love about it, just build upon that, bro, and release it because there is obviously a market. Despite the flaws that a lot of the games may have or some of the issues they may have, people still want to play a racing game and enjoy them. And Forza Horizon 6 is clearly showing that right now with what it's doing. Despite a lot of the things being said about the game, I think a lot of players would still probably enjoy it despite, you know, the entire, oh, there's no progression or the grinding isn't that great in this game or you get everything too easy. I bet you a lot of players would still have a great time playing through it because I personally enjoyed how they did the design this time in it, and I was seeing people still think it's not good or it could be improved, which 100% it's not perfect, but it's better than what we saw in the previous 2 games. I think that's at least an improvement, whereas they're not just full-on copying the old games and they put nothing new in there. At least they try to take a different approach with it. And I would say a lot of players who might see stuff online or read things, if they played it and they, you know, jumped in, I think they probably go, no, this is honestly pretty good, bro. I like this. I bet you that would probably be most people's reaction to it. And it's clear that a lot of players are jumping on the game. Many are enjoying it, and obviously you'll have the select people who, you know, won't enjoy it. But that goes with every single game. Can't really get past that. As people won't enjoy Motorfest or people won't enjoy Need for Speed. People don't like Gran Turismo. It's kind of all there, and it probably won't be going anywhere anytime soon, unfortunately. But that's just how it is, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to deal with that when the games are obviously not perfect or they have flaws. You still got to enjoy them. We have not had a racing game pretty much ever do this on a launch at all. So you can clearly see people are having fun, and the game is doing very well. It also makes room that other racing games could easily come in and probably swoop in and grab some of the audiences if they chose to do so. But what's also kind of wild to me, though, is I kind of think a lot of these other racing games are most likely not going to come out anytime soon. We might end up seeing the new game from Maverick or Lighthouse, maybe something this year. But I also know they're not going to release that game in, like, November with GTA coming, because ain't nobody going to play it, bro. I mean, just straight up. Everyone's going to be on Grand Theft Auto. That's something I was kind of thinking about. Forza Horizon 6 is basically the last big, pretty much only racing game that we have at the moment that will release. Obviously, it's already out. And people will play this before Grand Theft Auto because we all do know most of the other games are going to drop off player super hard. And that's just the single player aspect of GTA. When the multiplayer releases, it's going to be a whole different animal when that comes out. And I bet you games will drop even more. But it's kind of wild that we have Forza right now. First DLC, maybe 4 months. I have no clue when they release them. Maybe something like that. I'm guessing the first DLC will easily be before GTA. Maybe the next one might be December, January. Who knows? But they obviously do have a lot of players here. And I feel like the overall player count of Forza will definitely stay pretty high. And I could see it being in the 100,000 pluses for like a while. Or at least a good amount of time. Because again, there's really nothing else in the way of Forza right now. Like people can go and play Motorfest if they want. They have Test Drive. But I also think that a lot of players are looking for something different to do because some of those games are just not doing enough changes or they're way too slow on what they're doing to them. And also some of them still have bugs and issues that are not fixed yet. And yet other games get made fun of for things even though you can't even complete a challenge in Motorfest almost 3 years in because it's bugged. Does that make any sense, bro? And then also on Test Drive side, the game doesn't even run good half the time on basically anything unless you're on a NASA computer. So that's also kind of a problem. Meanwhile, Forza can basically run on a potato plugged into your computer, you know, because it doesn't need much of anything. You can have a broken computer or a super low end type of computer. You can still play Forza. So that should tell you optimization wise, you know, it probably makes a lot more players also play the game and jump into it because any or a lot of PCs can jump in where other games struggle, you know, lock frame rates and different things. People don't want to mess with any of that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons why the game has a higher player count and also why it's managing that. Again, it's not going to stay at 300, guys. I understand that. But it's definitely up there right now. It will probably end up dropping below 200, you know, 150s eventually. I mean, we're almost in summer, so a lot of people are now out of college, school. They will most likely be jumping on. So I could see the player numbers on the game staying higher. Meanwhile, other racing games might end up dwindling down a bit because there just might not be enough in there to keep people actually interested in the games, dude. And I really hope the success of this game really shows other developers that there is clearly a space for racing games and people who really want to buy them if they're actually out there. I mean, I bet you guys if we did get another Need for Speed, people would probably buy it, of course, if they did end up going through and making sure they don't make the same mistakes as the other ones, then yes. Also, I bet you there'll be another crew game in probably 2 years. I'm taking a guess right now on that because we all do know the updates they're putting out on the game, it just ain't going to last long term to keep a bunch of players. I feel like they don't want to innovate things in Motorfest sometimes. I don't know. I'm looking at the updates. I see how they follow the same structure. I'm like, you guys could do better here, here, here. What is going on? And I gotta emphasize this. I don't hate Motorfest. In fact, the biggest thing that frustrates me with Motorfest more than anything else is simply down to the fact that how they are handling the game, bro. There are so many things I feel like they can do with it that they just aren't, and that gets me more than anything else. The game is fun, it's unique, but it just doesn't have enough stuff, or the things I thought should be in there are just not. For example, more PvP modes, you know, more off-road racing, because the maps are covered in areas where you could off-road. There's nothing. There's not enough plane stuff. Basically, anything but Street Hyper is kind of useless right now, and I think that's awful because you have all that potential there. That's the most frustrating thing for me, man. Go focus on what makes your game unique and sticks out compared to everything else, and I guarantee you more players would come back and play it. And I really am hoping the success of Forza makes these companies go, okay, we got to focus on this and this and this. Let's go with what makes our game unique, and I guarantee you they'd pick up in players. And everything would probably change everywhere as well for most of these games because there is clearly a market there. And Forza Horizon 6 is showing that. But you guys know what? I can keep yapping. Do let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. I would say most players would probably agree with a lot of this. We all do know every single game has their flaws. But clearly players are looking for new racing games or games in general that they can enjoy. So I do hope this kind of opens that up a little bit, showing you that, oh man, look, 300,000 players, you know, people really do want some of these racing games. Maybe we should focus on this and that and, you know, get good things out there instead of just shelving it, if you know what I'm saying.